Why don't you explain to people what you meant or Bonhoeffer meant by religionless Christianity?
Well, there's a lot there. I'll just start with the phrase, okay? Bonhoeffer tried to wake up the German church to say, hey, this is it. It's your job, church. You dare to claim you're Christians. Now is the time to stand against the evil of the Nazis. If you don't do it, you're hypocrites. It's very, very clear. It's our job. We're supposed to be the conscience of the state. When the state goes wrong, it is the church that's supposed to speak, and we're supposed to do it bravely because we claim we believe Jesus defeated death on the cross. We have no fear. If you do have fear, maybe you're not really a Christian, you know? So he really challenged the church. And of course, the church, they just shrugged and they said, well, we'll see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Meanwhile, evil took over. So in 1944, a year before the end of the war, a year before his death, Bonhoeffer is writing a letter to a friend. He's in prison, in the Gestapo prison. He knows it's all over. He doesn't know that he's going to go to his death necessarily, but he knows that the German church has utterly failed. And he's writing a letter to his friend, and he says, what we needed in Germany, what we didn't have, but what we needed was a religionless Christianity. And he's using the term religion in a pejorative way because he was kind of a disciple of Karl Barth, the theologian, who said there's this religion where you go, and whether it's at the mass or the liturgy, and you go through all the stuff, but you don't live it. You just go through this religious stuff, but you're not living it out. And Bonhoeffer says we needed a religionless Christianity, a full-throated, active faith. And I think we've really missed this because it's one thing for the Catholics to miss this. It's another thing for the Protestants to miss this, but we all miss it. And what I find funny is that Luther, I wrote a biography of Luther, right? Of course, he's criticizing his church for being so focused on do this, don't do this, do all this stuff, right? And he says it's about faith. So what I write about in the book Religionless Christianity is Bonhoeffer says 400 years after Luther in Germany, they got the idea of faith so much that they took it way past what God means. And they basically said, we don't need to do anything. Oh yeah, back in those days, the Catholic Church said you had to do this and this and this. This is, Luther said it's just faith. We don't need to do anything. It's just faith. And Bonhoeffer is saying that's not real faith. Real faith is lived out in actions. So it doesn't mean you don't do works for God. It just means you don't earn your salvation that way, or you don't focus on that as though, that's the only thing that matters. But Bonhoeffer sees a church doing nothing and content with the idea of doing nothing. So that's what he calls dead religion. And he says we needed the real thing.